UK services, Lamarzi and who1.co.uk present the 20 Megabyte Doctor Who podcast.
Hello and welcome to the 20 Megabyte Doctor Who podcast, episode 531. I'm Adam, and like I said, I've resigned and given up doing quotes, even though there's quite a few on this episode. Like, what was the one I quite liked? Tough. So there you go, that's what I'm going to use. Tough. And here's Robert Haynes.
What is it? Tell me the exact date.
Ben Shoveler.
Doctor, and fun.
Yes, that's a really good one.
Yeah.
Mary Lang.
I hate funny robots.
Debbie Melrose.
The Time Lord Victorious is wrong.
No, it's not. And let's see if they've all been used up. It's Kirby Bartlett Sloan. Genius. Well done, Kirby.
That's why you got your
That
soda.
was good.
Yeah.
Very good. Right, let's see what people are saying on the live feed.
Hey, I'm impressed nobody did Gadget.
I know. I think we did that last time. We did
Well,
that
we
last
did kind of overdo it on the chat.
I know.
time.
On the message.
I
I
just
wouldn't
like
do
tough.
gadget, except I had a mouthful of water.
Gadget.
It'd be fun if you'd spattered it all over your computer and then wiped it out for the rest of the episode. Might get through the synopsis a bit quickly. Right then.
Stop
So
me
it's
thinking, Adam.
Lillian Robbins says hi, and then she says, "You guys always deviate."
And repeated.
Of course we do.
Terry Miles says, "Hi everyone."
Hi.
His dog says, "Woof,"
Yay.
and his other dog said, "Woof." Right then.
Oh,
So let's see what we can do. We're going to be reviewing, everybody, a episode called The Waters of Mars. Now, I had this feeling leading up to this particular episode
Did
of
it
the
hurt?
show that what I was going to do is let you lot talk about it and give us a call back when you've finished, and then I can get on with the rest of the podcast. Because
You're no fun.
Fine, let's do that.
God knows how long it'll be there.
That
No,
could
it's
go
just-
longer because you can't push things along.
It's only 2 years until you leave, Adam. So
Oh,
you
God,
why waste an episode?
Find these. I don't mind watching the episodes. I quite enjoy that part of it, but it's the
No, and of the podcast.
No, the shows we're reviewing. Anyway, the blooming episode starts with some bird
Here comes the
watching
enthusiasm.
some bird watching a Zoom video of her daughter and
watching.
granddaughter,
Bird watching.
Yeah.
and
There are birds on Mars.
and the picture's breaking up a little bit because obviously they don't use white fibre as their internet provider. I'm being
They
sarcastic.
explain why there's a communications blackout.
It's because of some flares
Solar
or something like that.
flares.
I
Solar
don't know.
flares.
All right, solar flares. They used to wear those in the 70s, didn't they? I seem to remember.
Which would have burned everything up on Mars. They don't have the atmosphere.
Well,
that
that's it. And I used to have, well, this is a different Mars. This is Mars of the future. I used to have flares
Being
in the
technical,
80s because my
Mary.
grandparents didn't realise about fashion. But there you go. Anyway, the TARDIS materialises in an environment that has been
You
specially...
almost got there, Adam. Almost.
yeah, almost.
Master,
What?
I thought the mill did an excellent job with that materialization,
Yeah.
with all the dust and stuff as it settles.
Yeah.
It is perfection.
Yeah, I'm not saying it isn't. I'm just saying they've
The
obviously...
Kirby seal of approval.
Yeah, it's very good. It looks like Mars. But it isn't, obviously. But
Looks
it
like a
looks right.
quarry.
Of course, it's a bloody quarry. Anyway, the Doctor exits the TARDIS in his iconic orange spacesuit, which does make several further appearances in Doctor Who over the years. A bit
No.
disappointed that the 13th Doctor hasn't attempted to wear it at some point. Anyway,
We've still
I-
got
yeah, I
a
don't think she's going to wear it
right.
somehow. Anyway, yes, Kirby.
Didn't it get destroyed at some point? Finally,
I don't know. Can't remember being destroyed.
I'll have to find out.
Well, maybe if you spend the next like half an hour finding out, then we might get to the end of the episode.
We'll rip through this.
Yeah. Anyway, there's some people in this this space station on Mars that are just going about their
OE
sort of...
Base 1, and it's
Mars
not a
Base-
space. It's not a space
Oh,
station.
it is
not
a
out in
space
space.
station. It's a base then. Anyway, they're sort of multinational
OE
space
base.
base. They've got a Korean woman
Master-
who I've seen on
Master-
other stuff. Oh, we nearly got to the end of that bloody sentence.
Yuri's space helmet is the only one I think ever in Doctor Who to not have a light inside so we can see the actor's face.
15
don't
seconds
need
of
it
my life I
because
won't get back.
It's so huge, right?
I met Yuri once.
It's
Yuri
the
Geller.
sunshine.
Did he bend a spoon?
Well, he did actually. He bent a spoon. He broke some watches. Then he fixed some watches that he'd previously broken, and all sorts of stuff like that. Really.
And he bent spoons that he'd previously bent too.
I mean,
did.
that sounds like a fantastic TV program, doesn't it? A bloke
Yeah.
upends them, breaks watches, and then makes them again.
I had my picture taken with said Yuri Geller as well.
I'll tell you what, Netflix are going to be all over that, mate. You've
And
made a fool.
The interesting fact about the Yuri Geller experience, it was in the same
Yuri
theatre
Geller.
that I
It's
last
very,
saw
very short.
John Pertwee before he died. Same theatre, different night. Anyway, right then. So yeah, this
Are you
Yuri
related to either of them?
This Yuri bloke's messing around with some stuff outside. He's making a little sign. Can't remember what the sign said now.
No trespassing.
No trespassing.
No trespassing, that's it. And then the bloke from Neighbours is a bit grumpy. He appears on it. I think he played Shane Ramsey, didn't he?
Shane
Ramsey,
Ramsey,
yeah.
and he's going back for the last episode as well.
Yeah, they're all going back. I'm going back for the last episode.
Yeah, I'm in it as well.
And my mate Glyn's going back with it, and he's going to sort of have a scar in his side, which is what he had when it first started, because he fell through a pane of glass. Right then, so I was just talking about the Korean character in the story. Stunning woman, but I've seen her in other things, and I can't think what else I've seen her in.
Humans.
Humans. That's it. Thank you, Kerr. I suppose you get half a ding. There you go.
Semi-ding.
You've been semi-dunged.
Anyway, so the Doctor makes his way. He gets all excited when he sees this base, but then he gets stopped by a gadget robot thingy. And that's when the title sequence kicked in. A revamped title sequence.
Dum, dum, dum.
One of the best theme tunes ever.
Thank you. I think I did quite well.
You did great. It was brilliant.
You set him up for that one, Debbie.
I knocked you out of the park.
Anyway, so he gets sort of escorted into the base and then gets interrogated by everybody. And this is that brilliant line that who said that the line that state your name, rank, and whatever, wasn't it? I can't.
Yeah.
The Doctor Fun. That's one of my best lines ever in Doctor.
Yes.
I absolutely adore that.
I
It's
was
basically
trying to claim it.
What we attempt to have while watching Doctor Who, but haven't had probably since this episode, mainly, to be fair. Or the one next.
You try and have a doctor.
What?
You try and have a doctor.
Stop being cheeky.
And then another doctor. And then you try and have
Right,
fun.
that's it. Where's the dogs? Are you lucky? Odie's in his cage, so he probably can be quite safe. Anyway, you've got this other character who operates the gadget thing with his little finger.
Gadget.
And the Doctor, like everybody else, is not particularly impressed by this gadget part of its
Gadget.
makeup.
Go, gadget.
Meanwhile, in the hypo place where all the plants are growing, there's a couple of characters who are just messing around. And when I was watching this, and matey sort of gets his carrots out. That's not a euphemism for anything. Or he gets his carrots out, and you see the water. Yeah, you think, well, that's it. Then that's the beginning of the disaster. And of course, it doesn't take long after he's had a nibble of his carrot. That's not a euphemism, by the way.
What's up, Doc?
That he goes all funny in the background and goes all shaky and then starts dribbling.
Dribbling? Is that what we call it?
Yeah.
He plays basketball.
Drooling.
Yeah.
Master.
The Doctor
Master. The actor who plays Andy there, Alan Rusco, we've seen him in lots of Doctor Who, but usually not seeing his face.
I normally have my eyes closed.
He was the lead Auton in Rose. He was the android in Bad Wolf. He was the loot of the Forest of Cheam in The End of the World.
The what?
He was the loot of the Forest of Cheam.
The loot. Well, I mean, that's stuff that got nicked, got looted.
No.
No? Okay.
It's one of the trees in the End of the World.
Yeah, they sounded like made-up words to us English people, Kirby. So they can't be real. Kirby's making up new words, everybody.
What's neologism?
He was often a Slovene.
He was offering a Slitheen. What was he offering the Slitheen,
He was
Kirby?
offering a Slitheen.
What was he offering him?
Yes, he was offering a Slitheen.
Offering a Slitheen.
Kirby's trying his hardest to bore us, trying to make a cup of tea. You know he's going to ignore us. Maybe you will go for a wee. I had one just before I started the
I've
show.
already gone for a wee. Sorry. Oh, and by the way, the last time we reviewed this, I apparently had to go off for a wee, and then you waited for me to come back.
Anyway, the Doctor remembers everybody within the base via a web page, and also remembers and realises they all die, and he decides that he should really go because it's a fixed point in time.
Did anyone else sit and pause every single web page?
And read it.
Oh, I did on the original.
Oh no! Oh god, no, I didn't either. Then definitely not. Just remembered I didn't.
I did not.
He nearly leaves. But there's something. Obviously, the initial emergency comes over the tannoy system that Andy has gone a bit funny, and so they actually head down there.
Do we have feedback from Andy this week?
That's random.
Yeah, see if I can speed through this. Anyway, we did forget to say that the initial thing where what was the other character with the dreadlocks? What was her name? All right, I'll just talk to myself.
None of us remember.
No. Anyway, pardon? Maggie. That's it, Maggie. Anyway, but the bit where she called Maggie. She calls his name and he turns around. That initial turn round with his face all dribbling, that was quite scary.
Yeah.
It was quite
the
good.
whole story is scary.
It's brilliant. The makeup's fantastic.
Yes.
Scary.
Anyway,
so
I like the use of the mouth shields in it.
She does get attacked by the Andy dribbler, and then gets sort of taken away.
Okay.
Taken away into a little, like a chamber, a sealed chamber where she sort of says, "I'm all right," to Yuri. "Oh, don't worry, I'm fine now. You know the rules." I know that, and I can't do the accent, I'm afraid. 24 hours.
I think he was Welsh.
Dribbling.
Well, since,
he probably was, actually.
Talking about the makeup, I read that that on first viewing, it came down to Davies that he was to make the monsters less scary, but they'd already CGI'd the eyes on Andy and
no, but they hadn't done it on her.
But they hadn't done it on her yet, so they left her.
She might not have been able to wear the contacts. Some people can't wear those sort of contacts, can they?
I thought they were contacts.
Mm-mm.
No?
CGI, which is why it had to stay.
Oh, wow.
Fair
Anyway.
enough. Oh,
So-
I see. Okay.
Next, the Asian chap goes down to see Andy and inevitably gets spewed over. Well, actually, no, he grabs his head, doesn't he? Just leaks water all over him, turning him into another one of these water zombies. And then the Doctor and...
The creature is called the Flood.
Yeah.
We are haunted.
Yeah, that's a tune, isn't it, Ben? I might have to dig that one out. That's a cracking tune. Well done, Ben.
That's one of my drummers. I love drumming to that one because you get to go.
That is a proper tune, that is.
Do you know Mark Owen's got a new song out and it's really
he's
good.
playing the Isle of Wight Festival and Deb is quaking with excitement.
That's nothing impressive, but he's got a good new
Not
single.
this, Deb.
No, not this Deb.
Not this
that
Deb.
Deb. No, that Deb. Take that, Deb. Oh, never mind.
It wasn't a Deb intake. There was there was Robbie, there was Gary, there was Mark, and there was Ken or Dave. I can't remember. One of
Howard
them.
and Jason.
It was Ken and Dave. That was it. That's what we called them.
Chaz and Dave. Yay. They're famous part to take that, them.
Is that a proper Dave?
No, it's another Dave.
Here we go, Ben.
What?
This is The Flood by Take That. Trouble is, I've just played the first 6 seconds. There's nothing there.
Hold on a minute.
I'll skip forward a bit.
Then we forgave them.
There you go. That'll do. So I don't get sued.
You need you.
That's a tune, isn't it, Ben? That is a tune. Anyway, back to Doctor Who. So he gets dribbled over, leaked over, and turns into one of these water zombies, like I say. Do you know, have you noticed that there's some of the scenes where the zombie people, especially that Maggie one, turns her head to the side? It reminded me a little bit of the choreographing
scarecrow
of
thing.
the scarecrows. Oh, me and you are on the same wavelength tonight, Robert.
Yeah.
But that's because they had the hose pipe shoved down the other side of their face, so they could only look at the camera one way.
It's probably the
But they have the same
not the
person
scarecrows.
they have the same person doing the movement, so Elsa Burke.
So a couple of times during all this stuff that's going on, people being creeped out and taken over by, this affliction, the Doctor attempts to leave, and then there's a point where moving forward a bit here. It's a base under siege. It's probably one of the most solid bases under siege scenarios they've ever had in Doctor Who. One of the leaky people climb onto the roof and start leaking through the roof, and of course once a drop of water. What?
That's way later.
I know, I'm doing it now because I'm moving forward.
You moved forward by like 20 minutes.
I know, but
just
there's just people talking. There's a to-fro situation going on between Shane Ramsey and the blonde
Have
bird.
we mentioned anything about the fact that Maggie was asking about Earth and things like that yet?
Yeah, but she was asking about Earth because she was interested in contaminating it. So
water.
yeah, she wanted to get to Earth. So
I've been scrolling through this. With Mary mentioning that those eyes were CGI. I remember watching it last night and noticing that there was one point where they did accidentally make Maggie's eyes look that way.
Oh, I don't remember that bit.
They're normal eyes, and then there's one scene where her eyes are like that, and then the rest of the episode, her eyes are normal again.
Oh, I didn't spot that one. I did fall asleep a little bit watching this episode, but it was very late at night.
It's probably too late for that one shot.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I'm glad. I had no idea that was CGI. I'm glad you told me.
Well done, Mary. Anyway, so
I thought it was contacts.
you did.
I thought it was contacts.
If you look at them when they're running down the hallway, the eyes are glowing particularly bright and not completely in sync with the face.
Anyway, blonde lady starts being a bit suspicious of the Doctor's sort of knowledge about what's
Adelaide?
going on. All right, Adelaide, whatever. Anyway, so she's sort of asking him, how do you know so much? And then she tells him the story of when she was a child and the Daleks killed her family, but had the opportunity to kill her.
Her attic.
And off it went. Maybe the Dalek knew that she was a fixed point in time.
Well, that's what the Doctor suggests later.
Yes.
Yeah. So, so that's basically what happens. I'm just moving forward a bit. Yeah. Oh, yeah, so they sort of end up being sort of cramped. And I did actually fall asleep coming up to around about this time.
Why?
I was tired. It was bloody midnight. I'd done a wedding that day. I'd got up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I was just a bit tired, So the Doctor actually gets into his spacesuit and does actually head back to the TARDIS. The lighting
time about it though.
This scene makes Adelaide's hair look red.
Master or Mary.
Yes.
I'm looking at the Confidential, and by the way, I love the fact that on this DVD, the entire Confidential is there.
Yeah.
And they're talking to the actors as they're in makeup. He's describing the makeup process and everything, and he's wearing contacts.
Well, he could be wearing contacts. I'm just saying that in the production, the write-up on the production has said that they had already done CGI on the eyes, so they couldn't go back and change them. Yeah. So maybe they enhanced whatever contacts.
That's probably what they did.
Yeah, there's a contact enhancement. Yes.
Mary, you've got to remember that Kirby always has to be right.
Yeah, but this is I've just thought of a nice new jingle for Kirby.
No,
Kirby's right. Kirby's right.
right.
Kirby's right.
I don't even know why I mention these things because
Mary concedes when she feels she should. Honestly, if Mary has got this as a fact, you don't have to try and disprove it for half an hour.
So are you saying I'm as insufferable as Kirby?
I think that we are both correct.
Anyway, there is a point in which the Doctor soups up the gadget so as to get its speed up so they can get away from the rampaging water zombies. I forgot to mention about that. And then Shane Ramsey sort of sacrifices himself, but they realise at some point that the base has got to be blown up. So as the
well, it's when Adelaide threatens to basically destroy the Doctor that he has to tell her what happened. She's like, I could just pull the pressure in the airlock,
Yeah.
But so he tells her, and I think that bit is a really strong, powerful bit with her
dramatic acting.
Yeah.
But anyway, a countdown starts happening for the big boom.
Master,
No,
you know how the
he's not in
Doctor's
this episode.
leaving the base, and he's listening in on them, and the rocket ship pilot blows up the rocket ship because he's Maggie is contaminating him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he does a little stunt, or actually, a stuntman does a little stunt where he goes off a trampoline. You know how you have to run from an explosion and jump at the last minute. Well, in the scene right after that, a girder falls. It's on fire.
And it's the same girder that Davros had to fall in front of.
Yes, there you go. See, I didn't need to say it.
Wow.
Somebody else had a fact for
My
a change.
God. Anyway, so the Doctor actually materialises and saves a few of them, a handful of them, because he's sort of remembering slightly what Donna said, because he wasn't going to save anybody in Pompey, but he's decided he's going to save 3 people. But Adelaide's not particularly happy about this.
Yeah, I loved her comeback. The little people.
Yeah.
That's just wrong.
Yeah. So she goes off into her house, and basically there's a zapping noise, and she's obviously killed herself. Which then the Doctor looks. This obviously, I'm jumping through the brilliant conversation in which the Doctor says Time Lord victorious and tough, and all the other brilliant lines are used in that moody scene.
He just got so full
having
of
a bit of a sulk,
arrogance,
didn't he?
Yeah. The arrogance.
Yeah, but then as soon as he realises she's killed herself, and he can see that the web page is changing, How
could he see the web page is changing? He's just standing there.
Remembers.
It's a bit like Back to the Future, the way the text was changing on this. But then he sees Ood Sigma sort of lurking in the background. Oh, is this it then? Am I going to die? No, I'm not. And he legs it off in the TARDIS, and we see a little bit of a teaser.
Going off for a Hawaiian party.
So Hawaiian party. Yeah. So there you go. Okay, Waters of Mars. It's very sort of hard-hitting drama. It is horror, and I think it's quite impressive, to be fair, the horror aspects of this story. I think that you can't fault any of the dramatic performances within it. I think the story's quite strong. I think the Doctor's arrogance in it is acceptable because he's going through a crisis, and he's obviously heading, like he says, towards his death, and he's got issues. So all this side of things is acceptable, and I think, apart from, I love End of Time Part 1 and 2, and I'll take this away from the specials, because this was like a Christmas special. This is the 2 specials for me are 3 if you talk about the next Doctor, wasn't it? But that felt like a Christmas special to me, the next Doctor. So the 2 specials were for me the Planet of the Dead and this one, and for me this is really, really good, outstanding Doctor Who, and properly swan-songy type thing. I know it's because obviously the next story is more of a sort of ensemble, all singing, dancing, let's give David Tennant a big send-off. This is more of a sort of sit back and sort of gawp at how wonderful Doctor Who can be. It's not one I sort of particularly look forward to watching, simply because of the seriousness of the story. It's not a lot of comedy goes on there. I mean, the comedy is very sort of peripheral. It's just
Kirby.
It's just a very, very good story.
Kirby's being busy.
It must be good, because Isabella, as she walked through while I was watching this story, instead of walking through to the kitchen, getting a drink and then walk out, she walked through to the kitchen. Stopped before she got to the kitchen, watched a little bit of it, got to the kitchen, took a bit, and then watched a bit more of it, and then went to bed. So it was actually held her attention for about 3 or 4 seconds, which is more than Doctor Who normally does for her. So I have to say it's very good. What did you think about it, Kirby?
brilliant, absolutely brilliant. One of my favorite stories of all time. Scary as heck. Fantastic showing of how fantastic acting from everyone. Fantastic acting from Tennant. Shows how 10 must have a companion. And it's just the doctor must have a companion. Just
yes,
brilliant.
The Doctor must have a companion. Yes.
The Doctor.
Yes. Ben, what did you think?
It was all right. No. Hold on a minute. I'll do that again. It was all right. It was, it was good. It was one of the better ones, wasn't it? Kept you gripped. The only problem is if you've got a fear of water, that could have really set you off. As the audience who are here for the quiz seem to agree with me. No, enjoyed it a lot. I did love the fact that the Doctor was walking out and then he said, "No, I must go back and help everyone, for I am the Doctor." And obviously then you had the Lord of Time thingy at the end where he kind of got a little bit carried away with himself, but that's fine because he paid for it and he died. Oh, spoilers. But
in here, I was wondering what was going to happen.
so sorry, Mary. I shall definitely give that one 7 rainbow-coloured scarves out of 9.
Well, great. Thank you very much, Debbie. What did you think?
I love this story. This is definitely up there, one of my favourites. It's I love horror, and this is a proper Doctor Who horror story, and it's just I love it because back then, it was 2009, and the Mars missions were like glints in the eye type thing, and now we're actually seriously looking at taking people to Mars, which is fantastic. I mean, yeah. I'd have signed up for that if I was in remotely healthy enough to even be considered. I would have signed up for it. But what a wonderful concept, and also the monster taking over a human is always a good monster, because what's scarier than us, really? And I just think the music
for yourself.
Well, just as a race, the human race as a whole is pretty messed up.
Yeah.
And I just think with the music, the whole based Under Siege, but this is done brilliantly, and the acting is fantastic, and his getting his trying to make himself leave, but he can't, and then just becoming so boastful, and the pride always the pride comes before a fall, and wow, what a fall, and just it's a great. I mean, some people would call it like a filler episode almost, but it isn't. It's a standalone great Doctor Who story. And again, I agree, I completely concur. He needs a companion. And this is just cementing that issue, that he needs someone just to hold him back.
Yeah, but he's always needed. The 10th Doctor's always needed that, though, hasn't he? He's always needed somebody there just to rein him in.
Yeah, it was so good. The first time I watched this, it was like, oh, that's Shane Ramsey.
Yeah.
Watched it, and having watched it again, and I've watched it again, it just doesn't get old. It's a great story, and it cements Tennant as one of the best ever actors to play Doctor Who so far.
Yeah, well, thank you, Robert. What did you think?
Absolutely hated it. I'm only joking.
I think you are.
What?
No, I quite.
You might be a guy. Stop.
You might have to say that again, Robert, but that was very funny.
Yeah, it's probably I quite like this out of the specials. It seemed more special than other ones that they called specials. It was so good to see less of Tennant's.
Sorry, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, but also just his campness. You know how he can be so camp.
Yeah.
It was just so good to see him being serious, and less of the the quipping and like rushing around talking 19 to the dozen, and this is all right. How it goes on.
Yeah.
It was just so good to see just be serious, and that's something that I really lamented about Jodie Whittaker's era, that if she could have not done the quipping and acting like a childish woman and be serious. I'd like to see that in Doctor Who when actors act the part, give it the weight, the gravitas that the part needs. And it was good to see that in this episode. And it's just so weird also just seeing him without a companion. As Debbie just said, he needs a companion. Just someone to bounce off, I guess, and keep in check. But it was a very good episode. I did think maybe it was a bit too much that Adelaide killing herself at the end, for a kids show.
Yeah, well, it's not really a kids show on this particular occasion.
It certainly wasn't kids' TV, was it? This one, no.
Oh no, and I mean, even looking at the designs for the creatures, once they took over the humans. It's just a simple thing like adding hair to a guy's head made them look less scary. But it's funny watching the design process that they go through to reach what gets to the screen. And I sort of like that, it has a touch of the gothic horror of the Hinchcliffe era, which is never a bad thing. It was nice to see that touch of horror back into the show. I wish we could see more of that for some reason. But I mean, not necessarily a serious story like this, but more of the peril with the creatures or whatever you're going to make. Just bring that horror back into it. So I mean, as they said they don't want to send the kids to bed with nightmares. But I used to love being scared as a kid. I used to, watch Planet of Evil and think, oh, isn't it great? This horrible planet and antimatter creatures and it used to scare me so much. And I used to love it though. But bring back that kind of thing to Doctor Who now, and that'd be good. But very good story, and really good effects, and I love the bass. Just something that I would have loved if they could have had to play Life on Mars during the episode, not just during the Confidential.
Yes.
That would be good. It would have suited the story.
Yes, it would. But
and why did he wait so long to, take action at the end when he's listening to everybody and what's happening, and then Steffi goes and gets taken over and
to build up the suspense, Robert.
Takes so long, and he just could have said, "Oh, no, I'm going there. I'm going to save him."
I don't know. He just shouldn't have done. That's why. When you were talking about it being a bit much for kids, obviously at this stage, Doctor Who had really fallen in the middle range of the ideals of it being more of a family show, with Torchwood being for the adults and Sarah Jane Adventures being for the kids. Now, me thinking of that reminded myself that David Tennant, the 10th Doctor, had appeared in 2 Sarah Jane Adventure stories, and there was one Sarah Jane Adventure story which was set around this period, which is a bit of a shame. I'm not suggesting we should dip in, to watch
in the future.
Pardon?
I can't remember the stories that he was in.
He was in 2. One was the wedding of Sarah Jane. I can't remember. And there was another one in which she was in, which was set a bit closer to this period of Doctor Who. So I might watch them just sort of for curiosity purposes, but not as far as the journey goes, because obviously the next one is supposedly
is Dreamland,
Doctor Who story. Dreamland, yes.
Is it Dreamland?
Yes, Dreamland. All right, so that leaves us with. Mary, what did you think?
Well, based on a little bit of what Robert said, did it occur to anybody that when he arrives and he can see everybody's bio in his head, how they're going to all die, didn't it occur to you that, well, okay, get them all in the TARDIS, take them to another...
That's what I thought.
or take them to another time period where the people on Earth will know.
They're supposed to die. That's why he didn't do it. He knows they're not supposed to survive
No,
that
but,
particular.
it's like this whole thing plays out, and you think, why didn't he just take them away right at the bat?
Because he didn't want to do it because he knew he shouldn't have done. But then he fell apart at the end of it, didn't he?
Why shouldn't he do it? I mean, why is he going to walk away and let all these people die when he could have saved them all? And then instead of, this is tragedy, he could be dancing around like the Ninth Doctor did and say, everybody lives, everybody lives.
Just this once.
But because communications were broken with Earth, the people on Earth would not know what happened to them. They would just assume that they died. And so the bios could all remain the same. And then with
actually, Mary, that's the sort of thing I thought about. I was writing a novel a while back, and I did get in quite about 3/4 of the way through it. And part of that novel was that there was alien creatures that needed to populate a planet. So what they did, they came to Earth and stole people that in history had either died or disappeared mysteriously, like Amelia Earhart and the whole of the Titanic, thingy.
Yeah.
Good idea. I'm going to give you a ding for that, Mary.
Yeah, it would not give us the gravitas of the story that we did much.
No.
But I just kept echoing in my head, just take them away, take them all away, and they'll live.
Yeah.
And I agree that there is a lot of good acting on the part of David Tennant and Lindsay
Adelaide.
Yeah, and all that. I mean, so I can't fault any of that. But there were things in there that I think were meant to pull kids in, and Gadget was obviously.
Yeah, that's true.
Gadget.
And then those silly tire, the fire tracks as they would escape, that's something that kids enjoy, but adults would kind of shake their heads over.
But it did give the Doctor an opportunity to sort of mention K9 in the that particular dialogue, wasn't it?
So I think that there was an attempt to pull kids into this, but
it was half-hearted, wasn't it?
It also.
Did you? I didn't hear anything. Can't smell anything either.
Oh, for God's sake!
The corridors were impossibly long. All I could think of is who would build a base with corridors this long to the various domes without some mode of mechanical transport.
You know who would do that, Mary?
Yeah,
the Doctor Who designers.
It's a science fiction fantasy TV program.
Yeah, not quite the time to say that, Kirby, but never mind.
And I think what adds to this sense of weight to the story is the constant revisiting of the conversation with Adelaide, how she's going to die and how she's going to inspire the future. And, all this kind of stuff that makes us feel like, oh, no, we're really going to lose her. Oh, but she's going to be such a hero. And, and then when she shoots herself in her house, it's like, okay, well, that's the end of all that. We got dragged along thinking she was going to be this hero, when in fact she's not. She kills herself in her own house. So I thought that kind of added a note of, I don't know, discomfort at the end. That okay, it didn't work the way they planned.
That was RTD around this time, though, wasn't he? Very. He did that with Children of Earth. Remember?
Oh, very emotional. Yeah, very emotional, very heavy drama, but these things that just, for me, just don't work. So for the most part, I liked it, and I think it's one of the better specials. But all these other things have occurred to me, so of course they get in the way. So that's what I think.
Well, thank you, Mary.
Uh-huh.
Right, stuff coming through on the live feed. We have Robert Vance Jr. saying hi, everyone. And then,
hi.
And then I like when they had the confidentials about they did the water effects for each actor's using tubes for the water. And then background music was very creepy. Brandon Moore said, sorry I'm late, I was busy building an empire out of snow. There was reference, of course, to the Ice Warriors in this story.
Yeah.
And I love the reference because it was a case, the snow. Maybe that's why the Ice Warriors froze the water It was just a suggestion,
yeah.
but I quite
Well,
liked the suggestion.
you got to wonder, why would they build a base on a glacier?
Yeah.
I mean, as they're melting the water, it's kind of like, well, what's going to happen to the base?
Yeah.
Mm.
Slide
Didn't think that one through.
Robert Vance Jr. says, I love how each Doctor used the same space suit. I don't think Jodie's put it on. I think I might have mentioned that. Brandon Moore, the 20 megabyte girder podcast. Robert Vance Jr. It's also a sad story, especially what happens to Steffi. Very heartbreaking. And then next to this story is the next Doctor was great. And then Brandon Moore says, imagine if Whittaker had been given a material as good as this to work with. Agreed. And in reference to her sort of being excitable and not having that as much dramatical opportunities as the 10th Doctor had, she was directed that way. So yes, I know she wanted to portray the Doctor in a certain light, but you know, I don't think she was given as many dramatic scenes as.
That's
as
what
Tennant
happens when
was.
you pick Chibnall for a
Exactly.
producer
Lillian
and
Robin
writer.
says, Debbie, he's the Doctor, not Doctor Who. I'm surprised Kirby didn't drum on that one.
Yeah.
And then
That may have been when I had stepped away.
To go for a wee.
Yes.
In reference to the imagine if Whittaker had been given material as good as this, Brandon Moore says that's a spacesuit joke.
Oh, by the way, I did look up the history of the spacesuits, and
I bet you did.
the last time
Disintegrate?
it was used, somehow the Doctor came up with 2 more of them in the one where the moon is an egg.
Oh, God.
And that's the
Splendid.
last time we saw it.
Wonderful. Yes, thank you very much. All right then. So now we move on to Kirby's bit, for which I sort of semi-wrote a jingle for. Then I got fed up with it. So actually, it was quite a good jingle. Actually,
I think I find that's my part.
well, it is your part. Have you written a jingle for Kirby's bit?
Yes, I have written a jingle. I haven't recorded it yet. Though,
Well,
'cause
there
I'm-
you go then.
I could
sing it.
Well, I can't really sing it yet, Kirby, because I don't
Kirby's
know
bit.
how
Kirby's
it's
bit.
gonna go.
Kirby's
Isn't that how it
Kirby's
goes?
bit. Kirby's bit.
No, it goes. He asks you what. He asks you what you think, and it normally goes well. But as he's American, he'd say swell. Here's what you think. In content, it doesn't lack. It's Kirby's part of it Sloan, and his feedback. It's something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. I think Kirby's bit. Kirby's bit. Kirby's bit.
Yeah, but
bit.
what that is it rhymes with what Kirby's bit rhymes with, mate.
Oh, jeez.
Not G's.
Go on then,
Sounds
Kirby.
like
You have
the same
some
words,
comments.
He asks you what you think,
Oh,
and
go
it
on then.
normally goes well. But as he's American, he'd say swell. Here's what you think. In content, it doesn't lack. It's Kirby Bart's a bit Sloan and his feedback.
It's not my feedback. I'm reading other people's feedback.
It's your
Oh,
feedback
no, it is-
section. No, he's being
And
pedantic
his
about.
pedantic feedback.
Yeah.
I'm just going to add that in. I've just done one of those little, in between the words his and feedback, done a little upwards arrow and added the word pedantic. So when I come to record it, that'll be the final version.
It rhymes with Dick. He is pedantic. That's it.
What?
No, it's
It
because I'm
rhymes
rhyming.
with Dick. He is pedantic.
Yes, but that's not right. Or that's not very rude.
No, it's
But the
not. My
word
dad was
lack-
called Dick, and my
Yes.
granddad. Thank you very much. Right, that's it. Carry on.
The word lack.
My
rhymes with
grandma was called
feedback.
Fanny.
I
Beg
thought
your
you were going to
pardon?
say your grandma was called Dick. That would have been impressive.
No, she's married to a William.
So anyway, could we actually get on with this particular feedback
No,
section?
because you guys just been rambling on.
I've been
right.
Oh.
Now you know how it feels. Okay, carry on.
Billy,
That's the thanks I get.
Yeah.
Just because you're
Bill-
jealous
Billy.
of Mary's one.
Oh, yeah, Billy. I'll play that in a minute, Kirby. Billy's one. I got that. That was sent to me privately, so I haven't even heard
no,
it yet.
Billy has a comment on the feedback.
He's also sent me something privately, so I don't know what it is. I hope it's appropriate.
So he said, "This is one of the greats not long before the show's demise. In my opinion, best I send in some feedback."
Oh God.
Debbie Melrose, whoever she is. Another one I have to watch covertly as it terrifies the wee one.
Yep.
And I responded, it terrifies me. I've been putting off watching it until.
And that's what made Isla watch it, because she was like, "What do you mean Kirby's afraid of it?" She watched it.
And considering what's therefore happened already on this podcast episode, that does make Kirby the wee one.
What? Because he went to the toilet earlier.
That's correct.
Robert Wins Jr. May I continue?
Yes, you can, Kirby. Yes.
Robert Wins Jr. The Waters of Mars is one of the best of the specials. I think even better than the End of Time two-parter.
Hold on a minute. That definitely deserves a half a one anyway.
Waters has everything you need in a Doctor Who story, going back to the Philip Hinchcliffe era with Tom Baker. I love the story. The whole start of Time Lord Victorious at the end turns out to be his undoing. He starts out, the time is fixed, but he snips and I think he means he snaps, and you see it in his face. He's not going to let time defeat him, and he does save 3 people. Unfortunately, the main person he sets out to save commits suicide. It shows what happens to a Time Lord when they lose it. Enjoyed the horror of the episode, and the connection to the Ice Warriors was nice. Very much a well-made story, 4.5 out of 5.
Great stuff.
And he posts a picture from it. Neil James, The Waters of Mars. Mars looks great.
It does.
So does everything else. This is a banger of an episode. The mix of horror and sci-fi is spot on, and it all just works. The makeup, sets, cast, music, script, and direction are all terrific. One of Tennant's best performances, and a great melding of classic and new Who. Ooh, and a scary ood at the end. Love it. 5 stars out of 5.
Wow.
And I comment, Mars looks great. Mars is 6 miles from the studio in Cardiff.
God.
It was also Mount Vesuvius, the Oodsphere in the End of Time, where Captain Jack was imprisoned in concrete, and Children of Earth, the surface of Hell, Doctor's wife, and Karn in The Magician's Apprentice. Mr. M says, do I have to wake you up?
No, I'm awake now.
Drip, drip, drip.
It's a bit rude.
The Waters of Mars by Phil Foward and Russell T. Dave is... well, this is exceptional. A very, very, very good episode of Doctor Who. There are 2 excellent ideas in this episode. One is the concept of the Doctor knowing that all of these people are going to die and being powerless to intervene. The other is the flood.
He wasn't powerless.
But he's not powerless.
He does intervene.
He does intervene. And the flood, that
And
take
he
that
saves
song.
the rest of he saves something.
Take this up with Mr. M, okay? It's not me. The other is the flood, possibly the most terrifying monsters in Who. They're brilliantly designed and creepy as all hell, which helps to sell the impossible and unchangeable circumstances the Bowie-based team face. If we didn't believe enough in the monsters, the deaths of the crew would not be anywhere near as powerful. And I believe every time I watch this episode, I find it impossible not to shed a tear when Steffi listens to the messages from her daughter as the flood descends upon her. Heartbreaking stuff. The crew are great, strong characters, wonderfully acted. The design of the base is good as well. The only real letdown being Gadget.
Yeah.
I love a comedy robot, but this one just looks too flimsy to be believable. Another nickel I have with this story is the unnecessary Dalek flashback, which I just don't buy. That was necessary.
Was it?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. No matter how important any one human may seem to be, a Dalek would and should exterminate the hell out of it then.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The real standouts of this episode are Lindsay Duncan and David Tennant, who both deliver exhilarating performances. I could probably list every scene in this episode and lash superlatives upon it, but I will pick out the airlock communicator conversation as being especially outstanding. And so the Doctor becomes the Time Lord victorious. It's a shame that this idea was not really carried through into the end of time, but that's not this episode's fault.
No.
As a child, I was on a definite adrenaline high following the end of the episode and could not wait for Christmas to come.
Indeed.
In terms of whetting, pun intended, my appetite for the regeneration, this story definitely did its job. 9 out of 10. Next time, prepare the gate.
Okay. That's it then.
That's it. There.
You know, it got me thinking. Oh yeah, the bit where we're talking about when he got those sort of web flashes of in the Doctor's mind that we saw of, those change. There was a little bit of that in the first Matt Smith story where he was seeing things differently to everybody else, the little details, which we'll talk about in a few weeks' time. But it was just a little bit of a throwback to that. And the other thing, I may have mentioned this on the previous time where we reviewed this story, but it struck to me that these flood creatures, I was half chuckling to myself because they reminded me of a scene from Airplane when the pilots had this.
Oh, yeah.
The sweat was literally pouring ridiculously down their faces during the fighting scene. But we have more items of feedback, beginning with some blurb that the lovely Mary is just about to dictate to us.
Yeah, and it's a fairly long one.
I beg your pardon. I better do my flies up.
Madam.
Hang on. Is that better? I've just done my flies up.
All right, Terry Miles writes, the Doctor lands on Mars, the date 21 of November, 2059, and he takes a little walk around on the surface, wearing that little red number he keeps using. On cresting the lip of a crater, he finds a Mars base. He gets a nice invite from a Mars rover that has a gun and joins Earth colony led by Adelaide Brooke. All the people on the Mars base would have been on the base or traveling to Mars during FanTCCon 2059 and would have missed out. This day is the day history records the settlement was destroyed, with the loss of all the members of the settlement. The Doctor finds that the colonists are being infected by an unknown agent and transformed into water-based zombie-like creatures. The Doctor is not prepared to save them, as this is a fixed point in time. He tells Adelaide that she has to die, as fixed points in time have to happen. He is quite torn about leaving them to die and eventually chooses another path. Well, he is the last of the Time Lords, so there is no one to stop him. He can become the Time Lord victorious. I think that could lead to a few books and other merchandise. Yeah, I'll mention all that later. There's a Dalek again. Can't we have at least a year without them, even when there are only 4 episodes in the year? It's true what the Doctor says. Water is patient, Adelaide. Water just waits. Wears down the cliff tops, the mountains, the whole of the world. Water always wins. It's obvious from this story that the Doctor always needs a companion to keep him in check. This week we went to see Dingle Cumberbatch in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Marvel franchise. It was Dingle Cumberbatch. I was trying to figure out who the witch was. It's young Wander, but no Vision. We also watched the remake of The Day the Earth Stood Still with Keanu Reeves. Good film, but shame they only remembered to make the stand still at the end of the film. The original with Michael Rennie was so much better. Yeah. The Doctor gets a few companions next week. It's a 2-parter, so are we doing it as 2 separate episodes? One a week.
Yeah, we are.
Stay safe, everybody. Linda and Terry Miles.
Ooh. Yes, we decided that last week. We're going to do it in 2 parts.
We're not even doing it next week, right?
Yes. Stretch out the David Tennant era still further. All right, then. I did promise something from Billy.
How you doing? Okay. The Waters of Mars by Gary Russell.
Okay.
Incidentally, it was Gary Russell, the guy that played in the famous 5 back in the 70s when he was a young lad.
I don't know.
I think it was, but I do stand corrected. Okay. We're getting back to Doctor Who and the Waters of Mars. I thought this story was absolutely fantastic. I remember back in 2009 seeing it for the first time and being captivated. I really do. And And that was the case again. This time, I've only seen it twice, and that was back then and this last week just to have a look at it. Okay. Wow. I thought this story was exciting. I thought it was fast moving. It was scary. And I loved the special effects on the face when the humans were possessed by the flood. That was proper scary. It really was. And great stuff. This is a typical example of how I like Doctor Who. You watch it once and you get the gist and think, wow, that was fantastic. Okay. But great characterisation with Adelaide Brooke and how it went back to her childhood when she was 10-year-old, and the reference to the Dalek. That was great. And also the reference to the Ice Warriors as well, I thought was fantastic. If I've got any criticism, it's probably the fact, or maybe the robots. I did find that was a bit annoying and a bit unnecessary. Okay. They could have done something else, surely. That gadget thing got on my nerves, it really did. But not to take away from the story as a whole, I absolutely loved it. And, this is how I like Doctor Who, okay. Anyhow, that's my lot, and have a great day. Take care.
That was Billy, everybody. I got a video from him as well. Hey?
Okay.
I got a video from him as well, but I don't know whether that's ever.
Great stuff.
Okay.
Accrington.
Why is it not playing? Oh, because I've got the volume down.
I think.
There we go.
Here I am in Accrington. Well, it's summertime, or meant to be. I think above those clouds somewhere, it's summer, okay. But below those clouds, it's about as grey as the top I'm wearing, to be honest. Yeah, not changed much. There's not a lot of people around for a Saturday. I don't know whether that's just the climate of the town or whether it's the fact it's raining or what, but I recall when I was a young lad coming downtown on Accrington, to Accrington, it had been absolutely packed. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, it's nice to be back. Lovely.
Come back again, Billy.
The iconic town hall, those statues, they've seen a lot of changes, I'm sure. Great stuff.
Oh, no, I can't bloody stop it now. There we go. Yeah.
Great stuff.
Thank you, Billy. It was nice to hear from Billy. It doesn't happen very often, but when it does, it's usually classy.
Sorry, classy. Thank
classy.
Billy, classy.
Hello, 20 Megabyte Podcast. This is Ian Kirk.
Hello, Ian.
Hello, Captain.
The Waters of Mars by Russell T Davies and Phil Ford. The Doctor is convinced that he is the last of the Time Lords, and he is without adult supervision. And he goes a bit crazy. He decides to meddle with a fixed moment in time, and it does not go well. I don't believe there will be a base named after David Bowie, nor that it would have an atomic self-destruct.
Because it would be Bowie.
I have a roof window, just like that one little Adelaide has. I've never seen a Dalek hovering outside, though. The Doctor says that robot dogs are alright. A mouth-watering episode. Well, sort of. No, it's mostly depressing. The Marvel Comic Universe has Doctor Doom. This story has Doctor Doom and Gloom. Bye for now.
Yeah, thank you. That was Ian Kirk, everyone.
Yeah, and he managed to confuse me there for a second because his transcript is in a different order.
Good. I'm glad he did that. And I had to stick with. I'm with Ben on this one. David Bowie, because everybody was calling him Bowie or other derivatives of Bowie, named his child Zoe Bowie because to show it was going to rhyme. So they weren't calling his child Zowie Bowie, were they? But still, the people call him Bowie.
Zoe Bowie.
It's Bowie. It's Bowie, isn't it, Ben?
It's Bowie.
He's actually
It's
said.
Bowie.
Somebody asked him, "How do you pronounce your name?" He said Bowie, but people still call him. But
and still people call him Bowie.
Yes, pardon.
Well, I had some jingles done for my radio station, the Indie Rock Disco Radio. by an absolutely legendary American fella called Smiling J. Andrews.
Oh, yes.
I wrote a couple of band names that I wanted him to read out on a couple of the acts. One of them was David Bowie. Yes. And it came back in his brilliant accent as David Bowie.
Well, the Americans still call Van Gogh Van Gogh, don't they?
It was just like, oh, wow. Yeah, he's brilliant. God, I love him. You should listen to my radio station and hear how good he is.
I went to a meeting for my job this week, and they were talking about ways in which my company is trying to save the environment. But this chap who was
what
talking
a waste
about
of time being. How many people had to drive to it?
Yeah,
exactly. Anyway,
especially as it was on the Isle of Wight. Bloody hell, everyone would have to go over on the whole of Hovercraft. I hope it was my Zoom.
Be quiet. Anyway, he said, but we got those sort of things that are, because I was talking about. So we got they're now using wooden spoons now because people don't want the plastic ones. So wooden spoons. So what you got the choice is destroy the rainforest or destroy the sea. So that's great. Great switch over from plastic to wood. But anyway,
we need the trees for the bloody oxygen.
We were talking about plastic, but this bloke pronounced plastic as plastic. Who pronounces it as plastic?
I bet you never ate at McDonald's.
Posh people.
Was it posh?
Plastic?
I don't know. Plastic. Got blooming R in it, is it?
They're the same people that would say plaster as well.
Yeah. Anyway, so Mr. Shoveler, you have some blurb. I did send it to you from Alan T. Butcher. I look forward to your reading of it.
Ground control to Captain Brooke. Or more drooling than when the Planet of Fire was shown.
Are you going to? Are you going to Adam?
I like that.
Nice one. Sorry, Kirby.
I do need both of you in the usual position, please.
I am in my position.
In your Sunday night positions. Dear 20 megabyters. The Waters of Mars is, of course, a closely studied continuation of Russell T. Davis's critiques of public services being damaged by Thatcherite privatisation and bad to non-existent regulation, which allows the corporate interests of capital to be supersede the public interest. Clearly, the water here is acting from its own interests rather than providing an absolutely necessary resource which you would be expected to boon to the residents rather than their private undoing. Sorry, rather than their undoing. The word private comes in a minute. Likewise, here it is, the private water companies. Sorry for the spoilers, everybody. I hope it didn't ruin it for you. Likewise, the private water companies have reached the point where their lack of investment in necessary drainage and water processing has led to the routine dumping of excess sewage and uncontrolled flooding on an increased level year on year. Adam,
I know, I can read.
It should be noted that whilst... Yeah, good. Hold on, wait. The gadget robot in this horribly is horribly annoying and spoils the story diabolically. In fact, Doctor Who is a
science fiction fantasy TV program.
So they should lighten up. It's fine. I love the way he writes that. It's a science fiction TV show, so they should lighten up. It's fine. But most angry man in the world just goes, nah. We also learn that Shane Ramsey, Shano from Neighbours, lived a long life and ended up on the Bowie base on Mars after flying around for the Flying Doctors, by the way, for a good
Yes,
few
he did indeed. I used to like that show.
I love Flying Doctors.
Who didn't love the Flying Doctors?
Whoever took it off air, I suppose, didn't like it.
Well,
Channel 9.
The only thing that I'm going to add to that is if you'd like to join me for my new Flying Doctors podcast, then listen out for it and look out for it on all new platforms where you download podcasts from. Who's joining me on that, by the way?
Sorry, I can't find my tumbleweed sound effect.
We also learned that Shane Ramsey from Neighbours lived a long life and ended up on Bowie Base on Mars, where they had no neighbours at all, before probably making his way back to 2022 to appear in Erinsborough one more time before Neighbours moved to Sun. By the way, no punctuation at all. I did it all in one breath as well. All in all, The Waters of Mars is a classic base under siege story which looks great and works overtime to achieve a far from rarefied, scary Martian atmosphere and some terrifying monsters in the crew taken by the water. The innovation here is that the Doctor knows the base crew did not survive and therefore is placed in an insidious and novel position of knowing he should leave them to their fate. Using this as a means to open the door to a new temptation for the Doctor provides some impetus to the build-up to the Doctor's oncoming demise in the concept he arrives at, conceiving himself as the Time Lord Victorious. He should have said it like that, shouldn't he? That would have added so much more drama to it.
I agree.
It is puzzling that this does not, however, pay off very strikingly in that oncoming demise. This darkening in tone did seem to fit such a time for the Doctor in a way that had not perhaps been so apparent since the season 18 lead up to the regeneration then. Happily, it was taken up later in the multi-platform narrative framework devised by the BBC and its licenses more recently. The story is perhaps about 15 minutes too long, as it is not all that special, but still very good.
Controversial from the councillor. Sit down at the back.
Next up. I had to move the phone much closer to actually be able to read the rest of this. Next up, Doctor Who and the expectoration of Rassilon, or back for the last time ever. Never to return again. No doubt about that. Those are my thoughts. The Councillor, Alan T. Butcher.
You can't dwell on Timothy Dalton's
I was telling Isla all about the spit of Rassilon.
Yeah, but no, I'm not being funny. We've just had an episode in which people have been dribbling for the whole episode, so a little bit of spittle from Timothy Dalton is acceptable.
Yeah, Isla said, why is he spitting everywhere? I was like, a bit more than spit, love.
It reminded me a little bit of Turlo in Terminus, not Terminus. What was that one
Frontiers.
called? Frontiers, that's it. He did a bit of dribbling, didn't he? Anyway, it's now time for Ben's a special part of the show in which we find out how aged they are.
I need to remove one pair of glasses and adorn the other pair of glasses and finish making my little table up and then have a swig.
Nice to be ready, isn't it?
And then
You're supposed to be ready.
put the script in the right place and then make sure I press the right button.
And now, live from the Indie Rock Disco Radio Studio 1.
Listen live.
So nobody's talking about. This is How Aged Are They?
How aged are they? How aged are they? How aged are they? That's what the game's about.
I thought so.
How aged are they?
No idea.
How aged are
Not
they?
a clue.
How aged are they? Get ready to find out.
And here's your host, Ben Sutherland.
Hi, and welcome to How Aged Are They, the Doctor Who actor who's recently had a birthday aged guessing quiz. Currently, somehow, still featuring on the 20 Megabyte Doctor Who podcast.
You said it.
The rules are simple. There are 3 rounds, and every round I'll give you one actor from Doctor Who history who has recently celebrated or are soon to celebrate their birthday, unless they missed it. The contestants have to try and guess the actor's age and to score as few points as possible. If they guess the actor's age correctly, they get an exact answer. New sound effect alert. No points are added to their score. If they are 1 year away, either under or over, 1 point are added. If they get 2, it's 2 points, and 3 points, and so on and so on. To ensure fair play, contestants will take turns to start each round, just so no one deliberately guesses 1 year away from each other's another contestant's answer for all 3 rounds, and tries to spoil the, it says here, fun. Also, no contestant is allowed to give the same answer thrice. I got the word thrice in. And if anyone mutters, I don't know, or similar, 100 points will be added to that contestant's score. These are collectively known as the Kirby rules. Yes, the points have gone. The points have gone up, everyone. It used to be 10. It's now 100.
Oh, God.
The weekly scores and winners' bonuses are hopefully being added up across the series by Kirby, and a winner will be crowned at some point. But before we play How Aged Are They, we better meet this week's contestants. Adam, 71, is the current world record holder for stacking old-style McDonald's foam burger boxes on top of one another, making a whopping 34 stacked high, a record he set in 1983 at a friend's birthday party. And yes, he did eat all the burgers first.
I did too.
I know. Next, Kirby. Kirby, 66, was in the running in the late 1970s to play the part of Ray Krebs in Dallas. He eventually lost out to Steve Canale on a penalty shootout, which is why he never watched an episode of Dallas or sent a Christmas card to Steve for over 45 years. But Kirby is an expert on Dynasty. Music. Thank you. Debbie, 54, claims she was on telly 3 times a week for 14 years in the 80s and 90s, playing the legs on the lady police officer in the closing credits of The Bill. Although we all know those were actually the legs of the Peter Pan of pop, Sir Cliff Richards. Debbie is also allergic to James Corden. Mary, 21, ran away to join the circus when she was even younger because she wanted to be the best trapeze artist in the world. It caused panic in her community, but luckily the circus had moved on by the time Mary had got there, and she was home in time for afternoon tea and scones, correctly putting the jam on before the cream.
Yeah.
And finally, Robert, 68, is the world's 13th most famous New Zealander. He's also the world's 32nd most famous Brazilian, 17th most famous German, and 89th most famous Chinaman. Even though he's not from any of those countries, he's obviously from South Africa. And those are our contestants. Enough faff. Let's play. How aged are they?
All right, that'll do.
Hey. It's hard because I've now got a microphone in the way of the computer, and the things aren't very big, so I can't see them. And the glasses I'm wearing are for that computer, not for that computer. Anyway, round
What page
one.
is NXQ on?
Are they? 15 minutes after I explain the rules. If anyone can remember them, well done. Round one. The actor's name is Thomas Staunton. Thomas Staunton. That's Thomas Staunton. He played Lofty in The Girl Who Died, which was an episode of Doctor Who. He was born on the 16th of May. That's the 16th of May. But how aged are they? We'll start this week, as we always start, with Adam Pearson.
Oh, for goodness sake.
Lofty in The Girl Who Died.
Let me think. Actually, go ahead. I'm going to go for
Mary Michelle.
38.
What?
38.
38.
Yeah.
Ooh. Kirby.
I don't even remember the character.
I don't either.
If you know numbers, you'll be all right in this game. That's the new catchphrase I'm going to use. If you know numbers, you'll be all right in this game. Let me just make a note of that. If you know numbers, you'll be all right in this game. Kirby, give me a number.
35.
Mary.
50.
Debbie. You know that thing I said to a minute ago when Adam was thinking? If you could have a think.
55.
55. And Robert.
That's how old he is now.
Yes.
No, it's how old he's going to be a week Thursday.
Okay. Let me think.
Which will be the same as now, as he's had his birthday.
No idea.
45.
45. And that completes round one. Round two is Trevor Cooper. That's Trevor Cooper. He played Takis in The Revelation of the Daleks, which was
he's
an
the
episode
backbone,
of
isn't
Doctor
he?
Who.
Yeah.
He was born on the 21st of May, which means he might have been celebrating his birthday yesterday. That's if he's not died. At the time of recording, he hadn't died. Trevor Cooper, Takis in The Revelation of the Daleks. I've just invented a new villain for Doctor Who, the Daleks. They walk around going,
The Daleks?
Exterminate. Trevor Cooper, Takis in The Revelation of the Daleks. 21st of May's his birthday. Kirby, how aged are they?
I'm trying to remember the character. I don't remember.
He's the fat guy. You know the guy's fiddling around with the flowers?
Oh, Robert, I might have to
yeah.
Deduct a point. Got to be deducted.
Will you stop buying time, Kirby, and just pick it up?
Deducting a point there. It's got to be done, Ben.
62.
62's Kirby's answer. Mary Blitz Lang.
78.
78. It's a number now. What does Deb say?
70.
Deb said 70. Robert's in Australia. Upside down numbers from...
77.
Numbers.
How old?
Robert?
77.
77. Sorry, I did hear a set. I wanted to make sure it was correct. I didn't want to write down an incorrect answer for
At
you.
first I thought he said 27. I'm going with it. Wasn't the episode longer than that?
I asked him so many times and didn't hear it so many times. He could have started at 27, put 10 on every time, thinking I was trying to goad him into the right answer. And finally, Adam Elvis Pearson.
74.
74, says Adam. That's the end of round 2. Here's round 3.
Yay!
It's everyone's favourite because it's the last one. The actress involved in round 3 is Lily Cole. That's Lily Cole, who played the Siren.
She did.
In The Curse of the Black Spot, which was a really episode of Doctor Who. Her birthday was the 19th of May. That's the 19th of May. But Lily Cole, the Siren from The Curse of the Black Spot. How aged are they, Mary Blitz Lang?
I'll guess 40.
That's a good number. Debbie.
32.
Robert.
35.
Is that 35 in Australian?
Yes.
Excellent. Adam.
Oh, dear. 31.
I don't know.
31.
31. And finally, Kirby Bartlett Sloan.
I want to say 32, but did someone else say...
You can say 32. I'll allow it. You want to say 32?
I want to say 32.
Can I hear the number 32, please?
32.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes round 3. We'll be back with the scores and the winner of How Large They Have been.
How old are they?
No, how
aged are they, Debbie?
How dare you, firstly, Debbie? You've played this game at least 5 times now, so to get it that obviously wrong is...
Well, you've won every time you played it, Deb, so...
It's quite insulting. But secondly, even more insulting than that is on my radio station, the Indie Rock Disco Radio, the tagline, we control the rock. Okay, that's very, very important. We control the rock. Now, the only people who listen to this most of the time, that's not true, are me and my mate John at work. When I make him listen to it, because I, want to listen to the radio station I've made. And anyway, the other day we were having a conversation just about it, and he said, "Yeah, I really like the 'We've got the rock' thing. We control the rock, mate. He's the only other listener apart from me, and he got the tagline wrong. It's obviously going in very well, isn't it? So
that's what she said.
Really, it works. Anyway, that's Adam. You better do something now because I now have to do some maths. So
yes, that's fine. I'm on it. Right then, still coming through.
I'm on it.
On the live feed.
Oh,
Alan T. Butcher says, "My great grandfather had 2 wives who were fannies, and then he married my great grandmother."
Is he being rude or?
No, it's their names, Fanny.
I hadn't realised.
Alan T. Butcher says the Doctor was powerless since he tries to intervene, but Adelaide still does die. Brandon Moore, aren't web flashes in Spider-Man? Lillian Robin said, Adam, I noticed your shirt. Have you seen Strange New Worlds yet? No, because I can't. It's on blooming channels I can't get. Like some stuff that's on BT.
What's your shirt? What is she talking about?
Never you mind.
Very yellow.
I'm going to have to go and look at the live feed.
Alan
like
T.
he's
Butcher
supporting
says,
Norwich City.
This is Gary Russell. Yes, this Gary Russell was in the famous Five. And then, surely, calling your daughter Zoe Bowie as a translation guide to child is a child of cruelty. Well, Zoe Bowie did, in fact, change their name. Was it a boy or a girl? I can't remember now.
The Flowery Bowie.
Zach, wasn't it? Zach Bowie or something. I can't. Changed their name anyway. Lillian Robin says, Lily? That's a nice name. Aww.
Yeah, it was the name of my brother's dog.
Oh, Lillian, I never said that. That was Ben.
No, I was just saying it was no
My
Lillian.
friend's dog's called Lily.
I didn't.
Yeah,
no, that was no reference at all to Lillian at all. That was reference to my brother's dog that sadly was put down a couple of weeks ago, and we still mourn.
Doctor Who news.
happy.
It's a nice segue.
Thank you very much. He did it very well.
I may repeat myself because there's been a few other bits and bobs coming out, but all they've reported on DoctorWhoNews.net is Tennant and Tate are back now. Obviously this hasn't been mentioned on the show by anybody at all. That nobody on this show suggested the possibility that David Tennant might come back to Doctor Who. But it is for the 60th anniversary.
Has it been mooted before? People.
No, but I don't think anybody on this show suggested it.
I don't know. Someone might have suggested that would definitely happen.
But it is for the.
Hold on, Adam. What? Was that you, Adam, that said that?
No, I can't remember. Probably. I'm normally the
Kirby,
one.
was it you? No. Debbie, was it you? No.
It was me.
No. Mary, was it? No. Robert, was it? Must have been me then.
But what he didn't say, this person, was that Bernard Cribbins has been mentioned as reprising.
He was in it.
Iconic role as Wilf. So
there's pictures of him being wheeled in a wheelchair by David Tennant.
Yeah, I hope he's all right.
There's been some pictures posted of filming. Very exciting. But there'll be, obviously, it's a 60th anniversary special. There's going to be people in it. The new companion,
it's going to be really dull.
Has been announced, or the BBC has announced that Yasmin Finney is joining the cast of Doctor Who Series 14. Series 14? Oh, that's going to be ages away. But anyway, Finney will be playing the character of Rose and is currently filming scenes that are due to air in 2023 to coincide with the show's 60th anniversary, so she's going to be in it. Very pretty. And she's in a drama that Deb's watching at the moment, Heartstoppers. Apparently it's very good. No, it says about some other stuff about her which I haven't read. And the censor rights on vinyl, a narrated version of Doctor Who story.
I'm sure that's going to sell well.
Is to be released by Demon Records. That's more of a collector's thing than an actual thing you'd want to play, Robert. I think it's got a cool blue.
Well, you don't buy them to play them.
I think you can play them, but I think people generally have them in mint condition without playing them.
They look nice when they spin around.
It's on my watch list on Amazon, and it's £75, I think, at the moment.
Oh, there you go. So that is
got £75 spent on something more worthwhile.
Doctor Who news.
Yeah.
Ncuti's going to be on the cover of the next edition of the Doctor Who magazine. Apparently, it's Peter Capaldi on the current one. So this might be something worth watching. Unfortunately, they put him with his awful back to front top that he was wearing at the BAFTAs. So that's Doctor Who news. Right then, what else we've got coming up? How are you doing with the results there, Ben?
Let's find out.
Run out of hands.
Well, that means we're ready to go.
Hurrah!
Hi, welcome back to the second part of How Aged Are They, or How Old Are They, or What's Their Age Again, if you're dead. We've given you the 3 actors and actresses, we've got their guesses in, we've worked out the scores. Let's have a look to see who scores what. Round 1, we'll start with round 1. That was Thomas Staunton, who played the girl who died, Lofty. He was born on the 6th.
Michelle?
and then they moved somewhere, and then Michelle came back with a facelift.
Yeah.
Totally different face. And body. And it was a different person playing her. So they did the whole thing. They didn't just pretend.
The whole thing.
Yeah, the whole thing. They changed everything. Thomas Staunton was born on the 16th of May. How aged are they? Well, Adam thought they were 38, Kirby 35, Mary Blitz Lang 50, Debbie 55, and Robert 45. He was actually 35 years old.
5 days.
Which means Debbie scores a massive 20 points.
Oh.
Wow.
It means Mary
She still
scores
won last
15
time she did that.
points. It means Robert scores 10 points. It means Adam scores 3 points. And it means that what's that sound? It's an exact answer for Kirby at 35. No points. Well done, Kirby. Kirby, we salute you. I'm so glad someone got that right. I've got to play my new sound effect. Might get to play it again in a minute. But he won't. Second round is Trevor Cooper. Takis from Revelation of the Daleks on the 21st of May. Adam thought he was 74, Kirby 62, Mary 78, Debbie 70, and Robert 77. He was born in 1953, making him 69, which means that Mary gets 9 points, Robert gets 8 points, Kirby gets 7 points, Adam gets 5 points, and Debbie, after a disastrous first round, is back in the game with 1 point. Round 3 was Lily Cole, the siren from the Curse of the Black Spot, born on the 19th of May. Adam thought she was 31, Kirby 32, Mary 40, Debbie 32, and Robert 35. She was born in 1988, making her just 34. Which means that Mary gets 6 points, Debbie and Kirby get 2 points, Robert gets 1 point, and Adam... You get 3 points.
I would have said 34, but I thought someone already said it.
Mary in 5th place with plus 30 points. In 4th place with plus 23, it's Debbie.
Wow.
Blimey.
In 3rd place, in only his 2nd appearance in the game, with a not too bad plus 19,
wow.
It's Robert. Which means to the top 2. It's the boys. It's the top table. But who's first? Who's second? Well, let me tell you. In 1st place, with a score of plus 9.
I do not believe it. It's Kirby.
Hold on. So that's it for this episode of How Aged Are They? We will return in the next podcast. Thanks to Adam, Kirby, Mary, Debbie, and Robert for playing. We'll see you all soon. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.
Master?
That's not the bloody theme tune to Surprise, Surprise.
It really isn't.
Master?
Sounded like My Little Pony.
Master?
What? Now what?
I had to step away. Can someone tell me who won? You know,
Adam won, Kirby.
Okay, I'll put that on the
Maybe you should listen back to it to find out who won.
Yeah.
Well, I've now got Adam as last week. Adam.
Oh, bloody adverts on YouTube.
No, it was you that won, Kirby.
What? No.
Who won?
Who won? .co.uk.
Who won.co.uk? Right. I'm going to trust that you are telling the truth.
You won, Kirby, with 9 points.
That's impossible.
No, it's
That's
not.
Impossible.
That's impossible.
You've got an exact answer, my friends. They're as rare as rocking horse is the work. Between the eyes.
No, I seriously considered giving an answer if I don't know, just so I wouldn't have to guess.
Well, he did exceptionally well this evening.
Can anyone feel the air of disappointment coming across the pod waves?
No, but I do feel a massive air of disappointment coming down from Merseyside this evening, and that makes me very, very pleased.
It makes me very, very pleased. But I'll tell you what, Manchester
For a
City,
Man United fan,
were,
I had
were
to switch a
being
lead.
sworn at by myself until they started scoring some goals in that match.
I was so disappointed at the end of the match that I'd been cheering on City like they were United.
Tell you what,
but they were playing like United in the first half.
Yeah, but what annoys me is that old Klopp says that everybody supports or everybody wants Liverpool. No, it was
Pep said
everybody wanted Liverpool to win. What tosh! Only Liverpool fans wanted Liverpool to win.
Yeah, it literally is, isn't it? It's anyone but Liverpool in the rest of the country.
Yes.
Anyone but Liverpool. Don't care who. Doesn't matter. Chelsea, City, whoever. Won't be United for a long time, but anyone but Liverpool. That's going to make me popular in Liverpool.
Yeah. Well,
I'll be
I've
as
said
popular
I've
as the
said all
sun.
sorts of stuff about Liverpool on my TikTok account. Deb said that I'm going to get punched in the face one day.
Hey, if I ever meet you. That was really savage, by the way.
Well, was it? Oh, very good. Yes. Okay, well, I'm not going to do the sponsors this week because they've already been mentioned briefly.
Is that
but they have indeed.
UK?
They've been mentioned. So
Who won
Farsi, they've been mentioned. They're mentioned in the titles and at the end of the show by my edited version of Isabella's disclaimer, which I need to do a new one of to save us having to edit
It's
it.
in my contract to say who.co.uk.
Right. I'm going to, before we go, because we've a little bit of time now, talk about FantasyCon because I'm having, because I'm so busy at the moment, it's been so difficult to actually do anything behind the scenes on it. But I shall reiterate what's going on. Because very recently we booked Andrew Lorden, who is a Jedi fighting expert, who taught actors to fight like Jedis in the first 3 prequel films and subsequent, more recent ones as well. So, frustratingly, there was a scene I saw on the television of who's that Scottish actor who was in Trainspotting?
Ewan McGregor.
Ewan McGregor, because he's going to be in the new Obi-Wan Kenobi series. It's going to be on Disney Plus. Can't wait. But anyway, there were some scenes of him being taught how to do Jedi fighting with Anakin. What's his bloody name? Hayden Christensen, isn't it?
Hayden Christensen.
I just said that right. That is it. It's like a blooming parrot. Anyway, yeah. So, but he obviously did train them, but he wasn't in the scene they showed on the one show. But yeah, so he's quite a good guest to have, and he's very enthusiastic about what he does. So he's going to do some talks about behind the scenes Star Wars, and he's going to train some people, some probably children, I would imagine, on how to fight like a Jedi. Board gaming is back. We've got Hellfire Crafts, and we've got Joseph Milson, who was in an episode of Moon Knight, iconically. We've got Ariana Dumbledore herself, Hebe Beardsall, who's a very pretty woman, and she's going to be in some good stuff coming up on streaming services. Minifinger Montage sponsoring the Lego Zone. We've got the Glen Arnold cosplay competition. Sadly, we've just heard news that the Isle of Wight 501st Garrison is disbanding. So hopefully they'll all still have their costumes.
Why?
No, the Legion can join other legions in the south. It's just now become
disbanding the Isle of Wight one.
A garrison. It's a garrison rather than a legion now.
Either way.
What are what's the criteria?
What do you mean? What's the criteria?
Why would
anymore? So they're
garrison and legion.
Yeah, they go dressed as Star Wars characters, mainly
I know,
stormtroopers.
but no, I mean, why would they disband?
Because they can't do it anymore. They haven't got the people to organise it.
Yes, and obviously the Glen Arnold cosplay competition is what we're. Glen Arnold who did he was the Isle of Wight's Darth Vader. He passed away a couple of years ago, and the garrison itself hasn't been the same since Glen's passing. But a lot of them still have their costumes, and hopefully they'll be coming along and being individual cosplayers at the event. We've got Dragon's Castle toys, comic books. We've got silver screen autographs, so rather fab. They've got in their shop window a very tempting signed photograph of Leonard Nimoy and William Shatner. Clive Mantle, Carla Mendonça, Craig Fairbrass, Kai Owen, and Heroes, of course, will be there. Joseph Milson, like I said. So we're not going to get that many more guests coming along because we're only a smaller event, smaller venue, so we can't have every single celebrity in the world there. But we've got a nice group of people, which I think will be good for the island. And we've got Fidel's Dream, who do 3D printing. So I'm just wondering what part of my body I might be able to get 3D printed by Fidel's Dream.
Oh, gee.
Retro.
Temptation.
What are you implying? Retro gaming will be there, and of course, White VR will be very kindly providing a VR experience for people, and that's just for starters, because there's other things that we don't know what's happening yet, you know. So Wessex Cancer Trust have just changed their go-between between me and them, so that we're going to have a meeting. Roy has got some really fab new shirts printed with the embroidered Fantasticon logo with the Wessex Cancer Trust on it. He also got some pens done, which also have the same logo and stuff on it. So we've got stuff there. Infrastructure's there. I just haven't got time to work behind the scenes, like creating leaflets and sharing stuff as much as I was last time. So, you know, if you're listening to this show and you see a post about Fantasticon, just share it and let's get some people to it and let's have some fun. There we go. That's all I'm going to say about Fantasticon. Oh, yes, another thing I wanted to say. Ben will tell me off for this. But
oh, careful.
The ironically named Doctor Who and Friends group moaned about me posting the podcast link on their thing, saying it's been posted too many times.
No.
Yes.
The person who said that.
Master, you misinterpreted, and they misinterpreted things, and then you misinterpreted things.
Well, I stay misinterpreted. I'm not going to go to a Doctor Who group that doesn't actually stand by its actual title.
It's not
Doctor Who and
it's not group. It was one person who didn't understand that he was getting. I mean, you post in lots of groups.
Yes.
And he was seeing the same post in multiple groups, and he misinterpreted that he was getting them from the single group.
Exactly.
Well,
so it's not their.
I've got other groups to post in. I shall post in the other groups. That's all I'm saying. I've got plenty of groups to post in, and I shall post that one.
It's
posting in one less.
If anybody else wants to post the link to this show in the Doctor and Friends group, please continue to do so. I'm not a member of the group, so I probably won't be able to do that. So
clap if you think Adam's wrong.
I don't care. I don't. If that person had been in this group, I would have just kicked him out. So
but
we don't put up with stuff like that.
Kirby's just explained it.
Well, there we are.
What happened. And now you've thrown your toys out the pram.
Yes,
Don't be
the toys remain out of the pram. I'm not
put them back in, because it's not just you that does them back in.
No, he hasn't apologised to me, so I'm not going to go.
Why, he doesn't have to apologise.
He does. It was me that he was being rude to. But anyway.
Right, no, he wasn't. He was just saying that he'd seen it a lot, and it's been explained why. And it's Facebook you should be upset with.
I didn't see any explanations because I've left the group. So, but I just thought that was quite a weird sort of thing to do when somebody was posting something innocently around. But half the time I don't have time to share it around those groups. So I think it's a bit mean. Full stop.
There's a billion people on Facebook, and you've got upset by one person. Have you never been on the internet before? It happens. I had a brilliant argument during the week because
that doesn't surprise me in the slightest.
I know I'm very good at arguing. Ask the wife, because I found Rate My Plate, and on Thursday night the wife bought me a chicken and bacon pizza from Asda, and I had some chicken nuggets which we got free off Just Eat, or wherever we got the food delivered from on Thursday lunchtime. So I had a load of nuggets left. And I put all the nuggets and the remaining chips on top of the pizza, and it was sensational. And I put it on Rate My Plate, and lots of people were very nice. But then one bloke came on and goes, "Well, it looks like poverty food."
Oh, and bastard! Oh, sorry.
No,
Debbie,
it's all right.
I know. I'm sorry.
I had an argument with him for both of us. Don't you worry. I called him. I basically ended up calling him shallow and
uncaring, unsensitive, and
I mean, just what an idiot. I mean, seriously,
what a
poverty
stupid thing to say.
There are people who, strive to take their kids out there once a month because it knows how happy it makes them, and then an idiot goes and says something like, it was so.
There was no reason for Adam to have gotten upset.
Wasn't there?
Yeah, back to that. No, there isn't. Adam being a child.
Now, you're going to talk about some things that people post on the internet that people get upset about. Now, on TikTok, there's a chap that used to be on Gogglebox. It's a Manchester nipper. Used to be in the family with the dogs. I know the Americans would know what I'm talking about. But anyway, he's
or the English people.
He's on TikTok and he posts videos. I don't think he's on Big Gogglebox, but anyway, he's got a mixed race girlfriend who he loves very, very much. Quite understandably so, because she's very pretty. But there are racists that post comments on his TikTok posts about his girlfriend and about her ethnicity. Now, I totally, obviously, as you understand, would make me very angry, and I can understand his reaction to it. But what I would do in his position, instead of allowing these people to make these comments, you can go into TikTok and you can filter them. You can tell TikTok not to post racist comments because you just tag words in it. Or you could just say, don't post anything until I approve it. That way, you can just stop them from saying stuff. Well, sorry, stop them from saying stuff that other people can see and yourself. Stuff like that. Anyway, but yeah, that's what I would do in those circumstances. Don't allow those posts to appear on the timeline, or just turn comments off. Another way. Anyway,
or just leave TikTok.
On TikTok, yeah.
Yeah, or stop pretending you're an 18-year-old girl.
That's what's the word for it when you're
when you're right.
No,
when you're right. Correct is the word you're looking for.
What's it when you think of the word now? When you're discriminating against the older people, there are people older than me on TikTok that use TikTok.
I don't use TikTok.
I don't use TikTok.
I don't use
not
TikTok.
Saying you should use TikTok, but I'm saying that TikTok is only for 18-year-old girls. That's saying
20-year-olds as well.
Sort of streamlining it and saying that that no one else should use it. That's not. The case.
That's not saying. No, I'm not saying no one else should use it. I'm saying no one else does use it. Tell me, Adam, what's your Snapchat name?
I don't use Snapchat because it's a stupid.
Oh, you really should. All the kids are using it, mate.
It's stupid. It's post something, it's gone. What's the point? No, don't use Snapchat. I'm on it, but I don't use it.
One of my daughters was big into Snapchat, and I said, "What's the point? There's just no real point."
What? Sorry, I'll drift. Oh, Snapchat. Yes, it's rubbish.
Were you just logging on to see your latest posts?
Oh no, actually no. I mean, I'm not going. I don't actually see any of these as you see 18-year-olds. Everything I watch on TikTok is there's no people that are that age. It's all like
have you got your
people of my age
running?
and stuff. I don't understand why people say that. I don't see anything like that. All I see is like people falling over and walking into things and people cracking jokes and football banter and stuff like that.
Falling off on TikTok. I mean,
Sorry?
It's an amazing difference. All I see is people's clothes falling off on TikTok.
I thought you didn't use it. I don't see anything like that. No, when I went on it, I just filtered out the things I wanted to see. Comedy, cock-ups.
I filtered out a lot, mate, and I found some
football banter, Doctor Who stuff, Doctor Who cosplay, stuff like that. So yeah, that's all I see on TikTok. Right then, oh, good lord. Right then. So next time, I think we can. I can
we
do
haven't
it.
done what have we watched this week?
Please don't. We're going to be here for another hour.
I've forgotten.
I haven't played Mary's
Sorry. I nearly forgot. I got sidetracked. I do apologise. Okay, right then. So this is what we watched this week. I watched the golf. There you go. Move on to Ben. Oh, you want to play
golf and stand up to cancer and lots of football because it was the last week of the season. Man United are rubbish and Liverpool lost and Man City won. Well, that's better than nothing, I suppose.
Anyone but Liverpool.
Haven't watched any dramatic stuff at all this week.
Did you not watch this afternoon's football?
I watched that.
Thing that there has been. It was fantastic.
It was great.
I was bricking it for a while, thinking Liverpool were going to win.
Did you hear, Ben, that one of the Aston Villa goalkeeper got attacked by the Man City?
Well, he got knocked over, apparently so. Yeah. But I had the the Man City match on the telly, the Liverpool match on the computer, and the Man United match on the little Mac. So I wasn't really watching that because they're rubbish. But the other two matches, wow, what drama! That is final day drama, absolute box ticked. Oh, box ticking mentioned on Doctor Who. That hasn't mentioned this week.
Yes, I must admit, before we move on to the next person, I didn't watch it, but we're all getting really excited in this house because Stranger Things and Umbrella Academy are coming back soon.
Yes.
The ironic thing, though, is that a few weeks ago, I'll say this quietly in case you can hear me, Isabella was given the opportunity to go to the London Comic Con. She turned it down because it's in the middle of her GCSEs. And then found that her icon, which is Robert Sheehan, who plays Klaus in Umbrella Academy, is going. She's absolutely gutted. So there you go.
She should have decided to go.
Yeah, stop the exams.
No, I've got a job on that weekend. Got filming to do. We could get away with going on the Sunday. I'll have to give up the christening I'm supposed to be doing, but she's decided that she doesn't want to be too tired for an exam on Monday, so it ain't happening.
Well, good for her.
Right, so you've done me all bit, haven't you, Ben?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Robert,
wow,
what have you been watching this week?
I've been watching Neighbours and Home and Away. Sorry,
no worries.
And The Flying Doctors. It's a great program.
Has he fallen asleep, Robert?
You're watching the Sullivans, Robert.
Yeah. I used to love the Sullivans. That was good.
Hold on, Debbie. You can also have one of them.
Can someone give Robert a nudge? Robert.
Is he all right? He might be a bit vertigo-y or something.
Is he gone? Paul?
He's gone.
He's not on the call. He's dropped.
He's not. He's left. He's left us.
He might not be feeling too good again.
Oh, bless him. Okay, well,
Oh no, hold on.
Oh, he's back.
He's back.
Robert.
Yay! Robert's back.
Yes.
Yay!
So what have you watched this week?
We were worried. What happened?
We're worried.
Nothing really.
Were you watching the end of The Flying Doctors?
Yeah, we were talking about you watching the Sullivans.
That would have been years ago.
Debbie, we haven't mentioned Prisoner. How could we not have mentioned Prisoner? Fake xenophobia.
What have we been watching? I can't even think. What's it called? Big Brother, yeah. Australian Big Brother. And The Voice.
Is that presented by John Farnham?
No, not that voice.
No, I've got that. I was a bit disappointed with everyone there.
They probably don't know the song.
You're the voice, try and understand it.
Make it clear.
Hold on, we've done more than 6 seconds. We'll have to start paying him royalties.
Sorry.
John Farnham should present The Voice. They've missed a trick there.
Probably sell a few more albums.
Well, yeah, he did one song, didn't he?
No, he had a long career.
He's a massive Australian artist.
Well, yeah, he's put on a bit of weight.
That's what I meant.
Boom, boom.
Was that him falling down the stairs?
Oh, God.
You know what? That's almost as funny as trying to watch some bloke in the golf drop his ball onto concrete and not making it roll away. You're not going to do it, mate. Oh, he's got the blue tack out. Good idea. Anyway, carry on.
No, that's it. Nothing.
Oh, is that it? Oh, well, thank you, Robert. I tell you, there will be stuff I will be watching soon. I still haven't got back into watching Picard, and there's all my favourite genealogy programmes are coming up. Who do you think you are is coming? Long Lost Family, and that lovely Stacey Dooley is doing something on BBC Two, a DNA thingy, and she's lovely, and they've already done 2 episodes, and she's really nice.
Dooley.
Master.
Dooley, yes.
If you can't watch Strange New Worlds, how are you watching Picard?
Stranger Things, sweetness.
Stranger Things. What are you on about?
When does Stranger Things 4?
Well, I got a bit put off. I watched episode 1.
Stranger Things is on Netflix.
On Netflix. Listen to me, please.
When does it start, though?
This week on Netflix. On
not
Stranger
when
Things.
you press play, Robert.
Yeah.
No, I thought you said that you were planning on watching Picard.
Yes, I have watched episode 1, but I got put off
This
episode
would
2.
end up being a really long slog.
How?
What?
How can you watch Picard if you can't watch Strange New Worlds?
Right, Picard is on Prime. Strange New Worlds isn't. It's not on
Should be
Prime.
on the same thing.
What?
It isn't.
It isn't. It's not on Prime.
Kirby, you know we're in different countries.
And I was just saying, I got a bit put off going to watch the second episode.
Trying to find these programs is a lot harder for
spoilers,
us.
Q's in it, and I get sort of a bit distracted by Q as a character. Anyway,
as Debbie said, it is very different. Like, you've got a president, we've got a prime minister.
Yeah.
It's so different.
No, we've got a buffoon.
The thing is that here, their Star Trek was available.
I've been watching Harry Potter all week.
Have you?
Yeah.
To tell us what she's watching. I was trying to move it on for you, Debbie.
Thank you. Right then. So where are we up to with this? So we had
metaphorically
Robert last, didn't we?
Yeah, we've done Robert, we've done Debbie, we've done you, we've done me.
Yep, you've only done me because
Debbie did Dallas.
Talking about Dallas, it's the American contingent.
Debbie needs to finish.
Yes, Debbie. She's watched
I've been
Harry
watching
Potter this week.
All week with Isla, and also finishing off Abandoned Engineering, which is absolutely fantastic on the History Channel.
Oh yeah, I still got that to watch.
I absolutely adore that program. Some of the scientists and archaeologists things on it are fantastic.
I've been watching Secrets of the Museum on Disney on Discovery Plus. Just remember that.
And that as well.
Good, isn't it?
And I've also been watching Austin Powers. We watched that as well.
Thank you. Right, are we there? Are we there now, Ben?
No, you've still got to do Kirby.
Have we done you, Kirby?
No.
Oh, sorry. Oh dear.
Woo!
Sorry, Kirby.
Well, you've been so quiet, we forgot about you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Unusual.
Kirby, are you there? Kirby.
Strange New Worlds. I rewatched.
I want to see it.
I rewatched, and
we will, Adam. We'll get it eventually.
I want to make a point. Paramount has gotten very, very possessive of Star Trek.
Yes.
That surprises me that you're able to see it on something else, because here all of Star Trek for ages was available on Netflix.
Well, obviously we're completely wrong.
No. Paramount has pulled it back off of Netflix to force you to get Paramount Plus.
We haven't got Paramount Plus
because we don't have Paramount Plus.
So Netflix has all of the Star Trek original series, and it also has every other series apart from. It doesn't have Discovery, and it doesn't have
to watch Star Trek.
Strange New Worlds. But Prime
DVDs.
Prime has the contract for Picard.
Is Paramount more protective of Star Trek than Doctor Who is preachy, or would it be the other way around?
I don't know. Anyway, that's all I had a chance to watch.
Thank you, Kirby. Right, I think we've got there now, Ben.
So tell us what she's watched this week.
Oh, yeah.
And what she's listened to in a Mustang. And also what was read in the world of Mary Blitz Lang.
MBL.
And when it comes to Big Finish, she's the leader of the gang.
Word.
So shut your mouth, pray silence hears Mary Blitz Lang.
I love that.
So do I.
Somebody has to.
Whistle that at work.
Yay!
Since I think we're on kind of a short time thing here, I'll stick to things that are only very appropriate to what we watched. First of all, there's that reference several times in the story about Time Lord Victorious,
yes,
which you may or may not remember. Many months ago, there was a whole series put out of books to read, audio plays to listen to, and comic strips, all on the theme of Time Lord Victorious. And they featured the Eighth Doctor. And I did read some of the books. I have listened to some of the audio plays, but somehow I got away from it. So I want to get back into it again.
There was too much of it, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was a lot. There was a lot to dive into with that. The other thing appropriate to what we watched in the story today is National Geographic put out a series that is spectacular, nothing short of spectacular. 2 seasons called Hard. And each story in it begins with about 10 or 15 minutes of reality, like what our myths about Mars are, what we're actually doing in terms of how we are going to explore Mars, the actual building of Mars rocket by Elon Musk and all that. So these are tidbits throughout. And the rest, the 45 to 50 minutes of each episode then is a fictional story based on that topic that scientists bring up at the beginning. And it's riveting because the story continues with these people who do go to Mars. They do set up a base, and various questions like...
they die from a water monster.
But they answer questions like, is there water on Mars? Is there life on Mars? And so these scientists,
That's like a song.
Yeah, that'd be really good.
For Darwin Bowie.
But it is excellently made. I highly, highly recommend it. Anybody, like I said, it's 2 seasons of, I think, 8 episodes each. Each one that brings up a topic of what we're doing or what we might find on Mars.
What's it called? Because Ben kind of coughed over it.
Yeah.
The title of it is called Mars.
Good.
Okay.
And it's made by National Geographic. And when I looked it up, it said that you could find it on Netflix. But then I also saw that YouTube might even have it. So because it's not, really current, it might take some looking. But if you can find it, National Geographic, I think it might be on the Discovery Channel if you get that. But yeah, it's National Geographic. It's called Mars, and it is amazing. The only other thing I'd bring up is the movie, The Martian, starring Matt Damon. That came out a few years ago. But it, too, deals with what would scientists really find, if they land on Mars, and the fate of one guy in particular who actually tries to live there as long as
it's a great movie. It's a great book, too.
Yeah,
it's on YouTube.
Okay.
Mars, because it's not available in other places. I mean, it's on Fubo and AT&T.
And it's not Geo, so it'll be on Disney Plus. So yeah.
He's just saying words that he's making.
Oh, will it? Well, not right.
So are you saying this is Mars that you found?
Yeah, Mars.
Okay. Okay.
Mars.
But if you can also catch the movie The Martian somewhere, I highly recommend that. It's a great movie.
I'm sure that's on either Netflix or Amazon in this country.
Have you been listening to anything on Big Finish this week?
Well, yeah.
Well, that's relevant.
Okay.
Take your pick.
I thought you wanted to go home, Debbie.
I know, but Mary is very, very interesting about
Mary.
Big Finish because I listen to a lot of Big Finish.
To the story that we reviewed today. But whoa, yeah, I've been listening to an old 7th Doctor story called Valhalla, which has, by the way, Michelle Gomez in it. She's one of the featured players, and the cute thing is that in the interviews after the story,
she's playing the Doctor, doesn't she?
She's what?
She's talked about playing the Doctor or something.
Yeah, she does. She would like someday to be in Doctor Who, and she thinks that she should play the Doctor. So it's really nice to know that in the future.
I always remember that.
She ends up being in Doctor Who, so that's kind of a fun fact about Valhalla. But yeah, I'm listening to more 9th Doctor stories on Big Finish. They're really fun. I really enjoy Christopher Eccleston in those stories.
Yeah, I bet they're good.
Yeah, and for anyone who's interested again in Mars, there's a lot of Ice Warrior stories in Big Finish. Those they like those monsters, so they come back in various ways. Yeah, Ishtar and the others. Yeah, they do make return trips in various audio plays.
You got Mission to Magnus, the Peladon stories.
Lego hands.
Ishtar.
Anyway,
that's
Master.
me.
Yes.
Master, we may have an issue with watching Dreamland because I can't find it someplace where you can watch it.
Ooh, that could work in my favour, couldn't it?
I thought you found it before, Kirby.
It's not there. What my link now goes to a trailer.
Oh well, we might not be able to do it after all.
There's always the DM. There's always the DM route.
No, I looked. It's not there.
Okay, well, we might have to not watch it then. Okay, stuff coming through.
We can get it to you. We can get it to you.
Can you now? Stuff on the live feed.
Yeah. Okay, well, are we going to or not?
No.
Do it when I'm on holiday.
It's going to be hard to find.
Yeah, let's skip it and let's do end of time. I think we all want to watch that, don't we?
Okay, let me tell people if they want to hear our opinion. If they want to hear our opinion on Dreamland, they go back to episode 150 from 2013 and hear me, Adam, Mary, Debbie. No, not Debbie. Me, Adam, Mary, and Reese and Robert.
Wonderful.
And Isabella.
Okay, we'll do that. So end of time then. End of time part 1 next week. Woohoo. That's good. I'm quite so pleased. I really wanted to watch it anyway.
Wait, do you not like End of Time?
No, I like. I just said end of time. Woohoo.
You went woohoo.
Dreamland.
This is everything's deadpan, Kirby.
Oh God. Anyway, right. Before we finish, stuff from the live feed. Ian Kirk says it is Nicola Bryant's dog's birthday today. And then Lillian Robbins said, yes, I have to filter my TikTok comments because of rudeness. Comments on my videos, she says. There you go. So next time, end of time part 1. Woohoo. I'm really excited. I'm really looking forward to seeing these 2 episodes because I do enjoy them. They're a little bit over the top, but I do enjoy them. So, until then, goodbye.
Goodbye, Fancy Pants.
Goodbye.
Although no one understood, we were holding back blood, learning how to dance.
The 20 Megabyte Doctor Who podcast is an APV Services production sponsored by whowon.co.uk, lavazi.co.uk. We are a proud member of the Doctor Who Podcast Alliance. Doctor Who is a trademark of the BBC. No copyright infringement intended.